It has been a long and grueling road to get to this point. It is Draw 7 of the 2025 Canadian Pride Curling Championships. We are streaming live from the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton, Alberta, and the storylines we have for you today are wonderful. Our feature game here on Sheet C, it is Edmonton 2 taking on Saskatoon 2. My name is Kevin Jesus. I'm joined alongside Matt Patrick and Matt. Wow, we're in for one heck of a finale here to the Canadian Pride Curling Championships, the round robin portion.
Exactly. I mean, we talked about this ad nauseum before all this, and it broke our heads. We played the what-if game, and I think we played it a little too much.
We really did. Both these teams are coming in with different incentives, if you will. Saskatoon 2, 5-1 coming into this game. Edmonton 2, 2-4. So Edmonton, they're trying to play spoiler. Saskatoon trying to book their spot into Sunday's semifinal.
And so to redeem themselves a little bit, too, from this morning.
Well, and we'll get to that in just a second. Let's talk about the pool standings right now. So we'll start in Pool A, where these teams are playing. In Pool A, Saskatoon 2 and Ottawa both tied for first place with 5-1 records. Again, the top two teams advance to Sunday's semifinals. Then it is Calgary 1 and Toronto 1, both at 4-2. Those are the only four teams from Pool A that have a shot at making the playoffs. The back end, Halifax 2 and Edmonton 2 and Winnipeg all at 2-4, St. John's at 0-6. Calgary 1, Toronto 1, guess what?
They play.
They're playing right now, so we're keeping a close eye on that game. That's over on Sheet G. So a lot to take into for this game.
So horses or Maple Leafs? Flames or Maple Leafs?
Right. There we go. It always goes back to hockey. Over in Pool B, Calgary 2 in first place with a 5-1 record. Then this is where things start to get a little messy. Halifax 1, Regina, Toronto 2, all tied at 4-2. Those are the only four teams with a shot at advancing to Sunday's semifinals. Edmonton 1, Saskatoon 1, both at 3-3, Vancouver at 1-5, Montreal at 0-6. So from 16 teams, we're down to the Elite 8. And from those 8, we will go down to our Final 4 in about 2 hours from now.
Look at you being March Madness-y.
Right? I know. There's one shining moment, and this is it right here. Right here. So Edmonton 2 versus Saskatoon 2. Dylan Flash, the skip for Saskatoon. Mathieu Lefebvre for Edmonton. So Mathieu, by the way, Edmonton throwing the yellow stones. We should keep that in mind. They also have the hammer. Mathieu, earlier this morning, was on the ice. He took himself out of the game against Vancouver. It was against Vancouver, right? I can't remember now who they were playing.
Calgary.
It was against Calgary. That's right. It was against Calgary, too.
Calgary won.
Calgary won. We'll get there.
We got numbers. We're tired of numbers today.
Mathieu took himself out. He's battling a pinched nerve in his neck. He had a massive migraine. So, again, we talked about this grueling schedule. 7 games in 3 days, including 3 yesterday. So both teams starting to play with a little bit of fatigue. Yesterday, I talked with Dylan Flash. He was saying he was tired. He was exhausted. Dustin Anderson told me he was tired. He talked about how he's not used to sweeping so much. He's playing third. He's typically a skip. He's playing third, sweeping a lot more, so he was tired as well. And their third game last night against Winnipeg, that game started at 9:30. They didn't get off the ice until just after midnight. So it has been a long, drawn-out process to get here. But the beauty of this format is you really see who the top teams in Canada are and who deserves to be there on Sunday for the Final Four.
Exactly. And for Saskatoon 2, they came off a brutal defeat this morning from Toronto. One there. They need to rebound. So hopefully that the rest they got gets them there. If not, if they drop another game here to Edmonton 2, that just throws everything wild.
And, that's one thing that's really interesting, too, is when you look at the four teams in contention here in Pool A. So Ottawa, they're a solid team. Joey Taylor, part of that team. West Forget, also part of that as well. Calgary 1, pretty solid team as well. Saskatoon 2, of course, they won Dustin Anderson was the winning skip back in 2022 when Saskatoon last won the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. And then, of course, there is Bill Francis in Toronto, won the 2-time defending Canadian Pride Curling champions. So the fact that they haven't even solidified a spot, and that's where that loss to Halifax last night in our feature game, huge factor.
Right? I mean, again, we talked about it all the time. It's just little misses, little things here. That's what happened last night for Toronto. They rebounded nicely this morning. Unfortunately, I don't think it's super in control for them in order to advance. Even if they win, they got to hope on a couple other upsets to happen. So we'll be monitoring all the sheets for sure on that.
And that's exactly what we'll be keeping you honest. We'll be watching every single sheet, trying to bring you the up-to-date results. Of course, we will also be posting the updated standings on our Instagram and Facebook pages as well. If you don't want to watch this game, you can watch our other game that we are streaming, which is St. John's versus Halifax 2. That game has no consequences on tomorrow's, but again, teams do have something to play for, all about seeding, all about where they fall in the order of merit. So those are things that you want to be taking into account. So the first end of this game is brought to you in part by Fruit Loop. For more than a decade, they've been Edmonton's premier 2S LGBTQ+ event hosts, unforgettable parties that support our communities. In about 12 years, they have raised more than $150,000, raising money for groups, but also raising awareness and to educate as well. Fruit Loop, great partners, great parties, great event hosts. We're so happy to have been a part of them, and they've certainly helped raise money for our club and for nationals as well. So congrats to Fruit Loop, and I know they'll be putting on a party for Jasper Pride as well.
Yeah, it's a good time. I actually inadvertently one year went. I randomly was like, I'm gonna go to Jasper this weekend. I learned there's Jasper Pride, so it was a good party. It was a good time.
We're on to the third stones here in the first end. Dustin Anderson, again, he was the winning skip back in 2022. As he throws his first of the third stones here in the first end.
Yeah, I would expect this to go to blanks.
Well, stranger things have happened. We've talked about that all weekend long.
The way that teams are setting up, for sure, they're doing it. If Jesse here can make a shot and roll, then it's a little bit different under the guard. But if it's open, I think it'll just end up being blanks.
Jesse Sopko, the third for Edmonton 2. He is the winningest curler in Curling with Pride history. He's won 4 league titles. Pretty incredible.
He's got to let someone else win. Come on.
Well, they didn't win this year.
Yeah?
They didn't win this year, so you can hear Mathieu just yelling, calling those sweepers on. Bradley Lewis
on the outside
on
of
it aggressively. This is going to open it up for the blank here.
Yeah, I think that's the nail for the blank coffin here.
I just looked up at our overhead cam, which those of you watching at home, you don't have access to. We are watching our overhead cam here, and there is nothing touching in the house. So this should be pretty elementary, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, we've watched them all this week.
So this is actually the final game of the day here at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Following this game, teams will be going to a nice banquet over at the Bison Lodge.
I'm excited.
They get to celebrate and enjoy. It's great. I haven't been there since my wedding. Although I was there when we were selecting the place and kind of booking things, so it looks fantastic. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful day here in Edmonton, so people can go outside and get a beautiful view of our downtown skyline.
I was outside without a hoodie on today. It was
fantastic.
Nice. And then I got back in, I was like, no, I need a hoodie. It's kind of cold in here.
So to everyone watching here in Edmonton, in Saskatoon, and across the country, hello, welcome. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you sticking with us all throughout these 7 games. A reminder, tomorrow the semifinals get started at 9:30 in the morning, I believe.
I have to wake up early? What?
Let me pull out my schedule here and just actually double check here. I just want to make sure I get that right. So yes, 9:30 in the morning, A is the semifinal, and then of course the final will be played at 1:30. Both games will be streamed live. We are very much looking forward to that, and we hope to have stands on the ice to bring fans onto the ice to give it a little bit more of an extra special experience.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. Nice draw in from Team Edmonton there. Just to freeze onto there to maybe not have a blank. Looks like Saskatchewan's going to defend there with a guard on top of it to try to hold them to 1. So we'll see what Matt and his team can do. to stop that.
So right now, Edmonton sitting one, Dylan Flash making his way down the ice. It has been a very long few days for Flash and Team Saskatoon.
Yeah, watching that game end last night was kind of interesting.
Oh, you can just see how exhausted they were.
They were
making little mistakes that they normally wouldn't do, and
Yeah.
I think that was because of the fatigue.
Yeah, and even at the end, the strategy they were calling, it was as I quoted, the NBA playoff syndrome, where it took 5 minutes to do it, which is not I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Definitely wanted to talk through the shots in such a pivotal game like that, where they ended up coming back out of a bit of a deficit to win it. So
The sweeper's on this hard, trying to drag it in there.
It's
It looks like it's
tracking that
really over curling.
yeah, that's kind of insane. That line is not normally like that. Well, here's a gift for Team Edmonton here.
Again, this goes back to on this sheet, the right side of the ice has been a little wonky.
Yeah.
The last few drops.
It hasn't done that though.
No.
It usually runs straight.
Yeah.
That's the oddity. I know that sheet hasn't been used since this morning, so maybe it frosted up enough that it's now catching a curl a little bit that way.
So it's one of those things too that there was a desire to protect this sheet because it is the feature sheet. But the flip side to that is you're right. You get that frost situation going on there potentially.
If it's not really used, if it's not swept on with the other barn spiel going on.
But kudos to the ice crews here and the
they've done a
tech crews. They
fantastic
have done an incredible job to keep things as great and top notch as possible. And they're quickly turning things around in between the spring fling bonspiel that was going on here as well. So it has definitely been a celebration of community, culture, and sport here at the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton. So here we go, Mathieu Lefebvre with his very first of his skip stones here in the first end as Edmonton 2 takes on Saskatoon 2 in our feature game. A big game for Saskatoon 2 as they hope to solidify their spot into Sunday's semifinals.
He's trying to go through the guards, it looks like. I think it's on the closer guard of them. And they know that.
Again, it overcurled as well. You could see Mathieu threw his arms up in the air. Frustration again.
Yeah. So it looks like it's going to be a little battle of reading the ice and see who can figure it out first for this win here.
More pressure on Saskatoon to read that ice better.
You think Saskatoon's just going to try to blow it up in there? There is the hole to get it through.
That is what they're looking for right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the opportunity. If they are able to get this, the potential is there to score too.
Absolutely. But if they miss, they're giving another opportunity to Matt and his team to get two off the get-go and start the train going.
So here we go, the final shot of the first end is Dylan Flash. Tries to give Saskatoon 2 the lead in this huge game, the 7th game.
Well, that's the weight you need to keep it straight. I just hope it doesn't overcurl one way. They're screaming.
Right through.
What a shot.
Nails it.
Well,
sticks around for the one. They might
steal a one.
Oh, wait, no.
No, I know Matt has a shot.
Edmonton has the hammer.
Yeah.
Forgot
That's what I'm saying.
that.
They have a shot. Matt has a shot for one.
Yeah.
He might try to blank it.
Yes, I totally forgot.
But he might.
No, I might need this pair after.
Okay, I'll get back to you.
Yeah. Thanks.
We're sorting out some seating issues.
Yeah,
here.
I know. Yeah.
Matt has a chance to blank it still, but he might just end up settling for one with a hit and stick there. So we'll see what he ends up doing. He's got to throw about the same weight that Dylan just did there for Saskatchewan.
Sorry, just getting.
It's all good. I see that. Yeah, I carried
out
it.
what's
We're
going
good,
on
good.
here.
I was saying Matt just has to throw about the same weight that Dylan just did.
Wow, I totally thought that. Lost in my train of thought there, and I thought Saskatoon had the hammer. So I think Matthew's off the line here.
I think he is too, and I think he didn't throw enough weight.
Now, could he actually end up like rolling that in? No, it's too much weight.
Too much weight.
So it's a steal of one then for Saskatoon 2. A great start. That's exactly what you're wanting. in this pivotal game as Saskatoon tries to
punch their ticket.
You can hear the contingent over here cheering, and they're all smiles. They love it because Saskatoon, too, is now just 7 ends away from booking their spot in the semifinals. Can't wait to see what happens here as we go into the second end of the Canadian Pride Curling Championship. You know, we may as well just continue going here.
I'm fine with that. I can talk about curling all day, you know that.
The second end is brought to you in part by the City of Edmonton. Again, big thank you to the City of Edmonton for their support, their grant support here for the 2025 Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Again, we've talked all weekend about how they've been trying to attract the 2030 gay games, and they ultimately fell short, but it's a great bid package, and there's a lot of hope and confidence that they might be able to do so again in 2034.
I've thought about those destinations. I think Australia is the play.
Okay, so Perth, right?
Yeah,
It was Perth.
I think that'd be the coolest place to go. Perth, Denver.
Yeah, it's Perth, Australia, Denver, Colorado, and Auckland, New Zealand.
I mean, Auckland would be pretty cool, but I think Perth would be really, really cool. My favorite thing that happens on our sheet is the, I guess it would be the second who wears his pants like shorts. I'm a big fan of that. As a guy who runs hot, it's kind of nice to see.
I know, I would be so cold. So, a couple of years ago, I shouldn't say a couple of years ago, this is probably about, I don't know, probably 7-8 years ago, I was curling in the Media Bonspiel here in Edmonton, and I was over at the Jasper Place Curling Club. And it was the final event of the season. So the ice was done after we were done. So on the final night, or the final day of curling, everyone got to go out on the ice, and there was like a pot of money. Whoever could draw to the button, but you had to slide out of the hack barefoot.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
It was quite the experience, to say the least. I didn't do it because I hadn't drank enough to be like, this is a good idea.
I like how my feet feel right now.
I was like, I'm just not going to do this.
Yeah, that's smart play.
I'm just not going to do this.
That pebbling would not be fun.
No, not so much at all. Kurt Hauser, the lead for Saskatoon 2.
Going for a hit here, just to start.
One of the rare times that a lead gets to throw a hit instead of a draw, right? That's always exciting.
You know what? They're probably like, yeah, this is great.
Right? Finally get that chance. Finally get that chance.
Yeah. Probably be a good time.
Bradley Lewis is the lead for Edmonton. He's an ER doctor here in Edmonton. So he's...
I mean, after a couple of days we've had, we might need him here still. Our blood pressure keeps rising with all these upsets happening.
By the way, we should say, if you want to support your favorite curler or team, you can buy... Although, I don't know if we're still doing that right now, because tonight is the Bison Lodge event, so we wouldn't be doing the buying the drink after this game.
Maybe it'll carry over to tomorrow?
Might carry over to tomorrow. So, you know,
we're going to check on this.
I'm going to mention it once, and then we'll just hold off on that just in case. But if you want to support your favorite curler or team, you can buy them a drink, $7.50 for a single, $23 for the pitcher. All you got to do is send an e-transfer to curlingwithpride@gmail.com. That's curlingwithpride@gmail.com. Include their name or the team name in the e-transfer and message, and we'll be sure to get them their drink of choice. Spencer McKnight, the second for Saskatoon. You love his shorts.
Right, yeah.
He won in 2022 with Dustin Anderson when they last won the national championships. That one, I think it's still biting.
I think it's still biting.
So Matthew wasting no time. He's calling for that.
Yeah, get it out, get rid of it.
Jory Teal Bacelonia is the second for Edmonton 2. He won Curling with Pride League Championship twice. He's super great guy, super quiet, but
what's his but?
He is a big Taylor Swift fan. You may not be able to see it, but his sweater, Taylor Swift. He's sporting it.
He's sporting it.
Good for him.
Right?
He loves it.
Rep what you love.
Exactly.
Nice hit coming in here from Team Edmonton. Looks pretty much the same. Getting a bite of the getting a bite of the rings there. So
anything you can do, I can do better, and that's just basically what's happening here.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep, they're just rotating shots as we go along.
It wouldn't be the career games without some musical references in there.
Trying to look for some updates, and we do have an update to share for you right now over on Sheet F. Regina taking on Montreal, and it is Regina who takes an early 2-0 lead over Montreal. Again, Regina in Pool B, in that mess in Pool B. They are 4-2. If they win this, they improve to 5-2. So they'll be keeping an eye on what happens with Halifax 1 and with Calgary 1. And right now we do have an update. Calgary 2. Did I say Calgary 1?
Yeah.
Okay, I meant Calgary 2. Calgary 2 down 1-0 to Toronto 2 on Sheet H after one end. So let's say that result holds up. Calgary 2
you want to
drops.
play this game.
Calgary 2 drops down to 5-2. Toronto 2 improves to 5-2. Regina improves to 5-2. And Halifax 1. Do we have a score yet? Halifax 1. No, they're already here on Sheet D.
There's nothing up there yet.
Nothing. No.
I wonder if they blanked there first.
They may have blanked it. So, as you can tell, there could be a lot of 5-2 teams here.
However, there's a lot of head-to-heads there.
There is a lot of head-to-heads. So there's so many scenarios, if you will.
But we know for sure Calgary's playing for seeding. Calgary 2 is playing for seeding.
We have figured out, and it is, like, I feel like it's like that from the Matrix when you see all the numbers or whatever. We do believe that Calgary 2 is guaranteed a spot in the playoffs.
Yes, they're
based
just
on head-to-head matchups and how everything's played out. We do believe Calgary 2, regardless of the result, is guaranteed a spot.
Because their only loss right now was to Edmonton 1.
Yep.
They've beaten every team other than Toronto 2, which they're currently playing right now.
Speaking of Edmonton 1, they are down 4-0 to Vancouver after the first end. I do feel for Edmonton 1. They also battling some issues right now. Christopher Cuven, who is the lead, throwing lead rocks right now. His wrists have just been destroyed all weekend long.
Yeah, that's no good.
He's really struggling with that.
Yeah.
Here on our sheet, again, it looks like they're inching towards playing for blanks here.
Yeah. They're just hitting each other's rocks out. And that's all it seems like it's going to be.
Again, Saskatoon 2, they got the job done. They got the steal of 1 in the first end, so giving them that momentum, giving them that
Starting off
spark
strong.
that they needed.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of commotion going on for this hit. Matt was waving his hand like he wants the rock to come over more.
I think they were just worried that it was going to go right through, but it still got a piece of it.
I think they wanted to keep it on the outside though. I don't think they wanted it to spill in, so I'm not sure that that's exactly the call, but I mean, they still made contact, which is really good for them. Get it out.
Calgary 1 has taken a 1-0 lead over Toronto 1. Again, that's a game that we're keeping a close eye on over on Pool A, as Calgary 1 and Toronto 1 are both 4-2. Ottawa 5-1, Saskatoon 2 5-1. So that game could end up being meaningless if Ottawa and Saskatoon 2 both come away with victories here.
And I mean, Ottawa's literally up 5-0 over Winnipeg already. So
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought they blanked it. I didn't see the one.
No, it's on 5. So that hey, you're being very. How many upsets have we seen this week?
I know. What you're not seeing here is I've got my notepad here in front of me, and I've already marked Ottawa as a win, given the fact that they're up 5-0. Although Regina was up 4-0 earlier.
I was about to say, did we learn anything from today?
I know.
Did we learn anything from this morning?
Listen, it could be the Jesus jinx. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. Jesse Sopko with his shot, just trying to draw it in.
Yep. I think we're definitely on the road here for some blanking. Yeah, I didn't realize it was 5 until I looked. I was like, wait, there's a number there.
Okay, so now the interesting thing. I'm turning on my computer on the side here. So now we're going to be doing some research on the side.
We're going to do some what ifs,
yeah. Start playing some what ifs here. But while we're doing that, we're going to the skip stones here as Dylan Flash steps into the hack. Again, it looks like this is going to be a blank end here in the second.
Yeah, they're just going for the hit. Until it mishappens, then I think we're all but destined for the blank end. Something happened somewhere. I heard some claps behind us, probably on cheap.
There's a big contingent of Halifax supporters and Saskatchewan supporters. There's also a big Ottawa group here. I see some signs.
Yeah.
So
we like to see that. We
here.
love it. Yeah. All of the love for the game of curling here. Good hit from Dylan Flash there. Just hits it nose on, it sticks. Exactly what he wanted.
So, okay. If Saskatoon loses this game, because Ottawa right now is up 5-0, so we're going to assume Ottawa's going to win. So they're going to get 6-1. That's where, for right now, we'll put them in spot number 1 in Pool A. If Saskatoon loses and Toronto wins, Toronto advances. If Saskatoon loses and Calgary wins, Saskatoon advances.
Calgary's.
But if Saskatoon 2 wins,
it doesn't matter,
Win and they're in. So really, if you're Saskatoon, you need to win, or you need...
If you win, you're first. If you lose, you're really preying on Calgary winning over Toronto. Based off what you just told me.
So you need Toronto to win.
No, you need Calgary to win. You said Toronto had...
Saskatoon lost to Toronto.
Yeah, so if Toronto wins, that's bad for Saskatoon.
Yes.
So Calgary needs to win.
Saskatoon needs Calgary to win in order to advance.
To not care.
Yeah, to not care.
Yeah.
So you're cheering for Calgary, but if you really want to control your own destiny, just win the game.
Yeah.
Just win the game.
Just win it. Win in your end. And Ottawa's only lost this to Saskatoon. I remember watching that game, so that's why they can't. But I mean, if Ottawa wants to be first, they're big Toronto fans and big Edmonton 2 fans here. That's how Ottawa gets the path to first.
There's a lot to think about.
Love it. It's great.
So, interesting situation here. We've got a bit of a split house here, so it won't be blanks. It'll be Matt Lefebvre just needs to
hit for 1.
Get it out of there and score his 1, and we'll be all tied up through 2.
Not the worst scenario to be in for Edmonton 2. Seeing a point just tied up, say first 2 ends don't matter. Let's play 6-end game, and the rest is all she wrote there. So we'll see if Matt can make the shot. If not, they might be in a world of hurt there.
I mean, they're in big time trouble if they don't get that done.
Looks good.
It looks like they've got it. Jory's put his hand up. He's like, "Don't hurry, Skip. We're good.
This. Don't even come down. You're good.
We're good." So it is 1 for Edmonton. So after 2 ends of play, Edmonton 2, Saskatoon 2, both tied up at 1. Draw 7 of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton for Draw 7 of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. The third end. I was like, where are we? The third end of this game is brought to you in part by Team Edmonton, a terrific organization that has been supporting 2S LGBTQ plus community and sporting events here in our city. They're basically kind of the umbrella organization.
Yeah.
You know, from
Have you checked out their website? They have a lot of sports there.
They do. They have fantastic. And it's like everything that you can imagine.
Right, we were talking about pickleball the other day.
Yep.
They're running a pickleball league this year.
Pickleball, lawn bowling. There's just so much going on.
Right? They got everything. And I think they had a softball thing at some point they were thinking about. So good for Team Edmonton. We love to see a good sponsor here.
So we should mention, by the way, Mathieu Lefebvre really wanted us to make sure that everyone watching that from Saskatoon knew that his team won the Rock the River Cup. That's the bonspiel that the Prairie Lily Curling Club puts on a couple years ago. Saskatoon has never won their own bonspiel, but his team has.
Yeah.
So he really wanted to make sure that everyone knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the fans at home did.
I love it.
Right? You gotta make sure that all the hometown fans know that he can do better. So.
We're just waiting on a couple of more scores to be posted before we do a quick update around here at the Granite, but we're still trying to keep you updated as they come up.
Who put Calgary and Toronto as both teams beside each other? With two important games coming out of them. Who knew that would happen?
Well, who knew that they would be so
right,
important,
exactly.
right?
The world works in mysterious ways.
If this is karaoke night, we'd start singing you too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But there we go.
Good hit there from Edmonton too.
Saskatoon 2 with the hammer here in the third. Early going, obviously. Dustin Anderson's team, they've been in the Final Four the last 3 years. So they're trying to make it 4 years in a row that they've been to the Final Four.
Maybe this will be the year.
Well, I mean, they would have won it in 2022. They didn't. Obviously, 2023 and 2024 went to Bill Francis in Toronto. So there you go.
Maybe this is their year to
Can you
get
imagine
back.
winning 2 national championships in 4 years? That's pretty
crazy.
impressive.
That is crazy.
And again, for Saskatoon, given how relatively new where they have been in the scene, they've only been around for about 11 years.
Yeah, but have you met Saskatchewan curlers? They're insanely good.
They are insanely good. They're great at football.
Even look at the
They're good at
Briar.
curling.
They're
Except at the Briar, they haven't won since 1980.
no, but they're
Rick Folk.
always in contention.
I know, but they just haven't won.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I just want to see Saskatchewan just win it once. Win the
once.
Briar once again since 1980. Just like the CFL, right? It took them what a great shot by Ottawa.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Over on sheet E. Again, this is one of those games where we're going to be very distracted. Our eyes are just darting around everywhere.
And there's a World Championship curling game going on too. Hear that? Scotland's currently up 4-2.
4-2 at the World Championships going on in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Hello to anyone that's watching in the stands in Moose Jaw, by the way.
Right. We appreciate your dedication.
Hey, I was at a Chicago Cubs game in Wrigley Field, and I watched the third period of an Oilers playoff game.
I've done that. In like the stand, somewhere you watch another game, 100%.
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Exactly.
This Canadian Pride Curling Championship scoreboard update brought to you in part by Freddie, providing healthcare for the 2S LGBTQ plus community. Help prevent HIV with PrEP and boost STI protection with DoxyPep. And taking a look over at Sheet A, Vancouver with a 4-0 lead over Edmonton 1. So that one is pretty late in the second end. Vancouver sitting 3 in the house right now, but Edmonton does have the hammer, so we'll keep an eye on that game as well. Halifax 2 with a 3-1 lead over St. John's.
Ooh, you got lucky there. Got a tick off the guard, but ended up still making the shot.
What's that saying? You got to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good?
Exactly.
And that is
That's
the
what it is.
story for Dylan Flash and his Saskatoon 2 team. No updates to pass along your way between Halifax 1 and Saskatoon 1. That's a big game for Halifax.
Yeah, they need to win.
They're really slow.
No, this is 3.
On D?
On D, yeah.
Did they blank the first 2 ends then?
They just haven't put scores up, yeah. There's no way they've been sitting there for, what are we at, 40 minutes now?
I would hope not.
Half an hour? There's no way.
Maybe they did blank the first 2. Who knows?
Hang on, I can go find out. I can go find out. Let me see. Give me a second, I'll be back.
All right, well, Ottawa's still up 5-0 over Winnipeg.
They have
Waiting for an update there. Waiting to see an update over on sheet F. We're just about to get one. And it looks like Regina stole one in the second to take a 3-0 lead. Again, Regina needing to win to get there. They're 4-2. Regina, by the way, Matt, Regina with a steal of 1. So they've got a 3-0 lead over Montreal. So what's the update?
So what's the update? Yeah, 2 blanks in a row on sheet D.
They
did not play a single end in half an hour.
There we go.
They're
Good.
not slow curlers.
Good.
We do not like slow curlers
All
at
right.
the Granite.
There we go. We're always passing on that message.
And thank you to the Saskatchewan contingent over there cheering them on. I really appreciate the help.
Calgary 1, Toronto 1. A game that could prove to be meaningless if Saskatoon 2 wins. But Calgary 1, Toronto 1, that game all tied up at 1 in the third. And Toronto 2 with a 1-0 lead over Calgary 2. Still waiting for an update there in that game.
Sheet C, Matt's got to start hitting some rocks out here. He's kind of got his rocks scattered, one of which is in the back 12-foot. The red that he's trying to hit is almost in the 4-foot. Got to hit it out. Got to start playing a bit of defense to get your hammer back. You want to force them to 1. You don't want to get them to get 2. So this is the start of it.
Just gets. Is that going to catch though? It
Yeah.
does, and that's a problem.
Unfortunate bounce for Matt and his team there.
So now Saskatoon 2 back into the driver's seat. They're going to be trying to get their 2 here. They'll try and split the house, and if they're able to get 2, puts them in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, they're trying to do their hammer conversion here to get their 2 points so they can be up in a nice comfortable position and just trade hammer back and forth for the rest of the game.
I do think Ottawa stole some in the second. They haven't put an update there, but I think they did. So again, Ottawa, I've already presumed they were going to win. They were already up 5-0 against Winnipeg. We're waiting to see what the next score is here.
Did you get an update from sheet A? Or?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Vancouver taking a 7-0 lead over Edmonton 1.
Yes.
So that would be Vancouver's second win. That would be Vancouver's second win of this event.
See what Matt here does with his shots. We're still on 3rd stone, so there's still lots of time. There's no panic in him. You can see it. He's still calm, cool, and collected, ready to make some shots here. And
so when you're a skip, you're playing a game where you know that you're out. You know that all you're doing is playing spoiler. You're just playing out the games. Does that change the way you approach games? Does that change the way you do things?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that goes into your mind of, I'm just going to play spoiler.
I think he's on the guard here.
I think so too.
He's all good.
I think he threw it a bit inside from his release. So. The good thing now is everything's open.
Yeah, but now, Saskatoon too is just smelling.
They got to figure out what they want to do. Do they want, and the yellows out counting both reds. So
you get that out. You're sitting 3. You're looking pretty
sitting
good.
3. So Saskatoon has to deal with that, whereas Edmonton can plan a little bit here and see how can we attack these 3 if like the one sits here kind of thing. So we'll see how this ends up shaking out. 3rd rock's coming out. So
Really good.
Again, Dustin Anderson playing 3rd for Saskatoon 2. They initially had him down as the skip, but they've decided to flip it around. And
seems to be working out well.
It's been working wonderful
I mean, one little oopsie in a game, but that's about it.
They're a great group of guys too.
Oh,
Like,
they
they're
seem
just so
super fun.
pleasant to be around, and they're just great positive attitude.
Yeah,
It's kind of the Saskatchewan way.
I've heard that. I've heard that people from Saskatchewan are very nice.
So Mathieu will be throwing the first of his 2 skip stones here in the third end.
He's looking to try to maybe make a double. It's
I mean, it is
thin.
possible. It is
It's there. It's there. You just got to hit it nicely.
Again, the problem that you come into here is if you don't do this,
Yeah.
then you're almost certainly leaving Saskatoon with an opportunity for 3.
Yeah. Which is not ideal.
No, I mean, that pretty much, I want to say it pretty much wraps it all up, but
But then that puts Saskatchewan on the easy train to success.
it does. Again, they don't want to take anything for granted. We've certainly seen a lot of blown leads.
Would you say taken for granted?
But hey, quick update over on Sheet H. Calgary 2 has taken a 2-1 lead over Toronto 2. Again, Calgary 2 guaranteed a spot in the Final 4. They're currently 5-1 over in Pool B, so they would improve to 6-1. That would eliminate Toronto 2 from contention. So that puts Regina and Halifax 1 looking at the scoreboard as well. In terms of Halifax 1, it's zeros on the board right now against Saskatoon 1. I can tell you there will not be a blanked end here in the third.
Nope. They definitely got something going.
It is a mess in that house.
Probably be 1 point, though, somewhere.
Ottawa did end up stealing 1, so they have a 6-0 lead over Winnipeg, and Regina still up 2-0 over Montreal.
The sad part for Regina that their destiny is not in their hands, even if they win. They're big Saskatoon 1 fans right now.
So Saskatoon 2, right now, looking to take. They were taking a look to see which one was closer, but they're going to be taking out the yellow here, so they can be sitting 3, and they're sitting pretty good. You got to be feeling pretty happy if you're Saskatoon 2. This was an excellent end for them.
Right. Even if they make the shot, I think, as Matt, what you do is you try to limit the bleeding, try to sit on one of their other ones. So they either have a shot for 2 and, okay, yeah, it's 2, but it's not great, but it's better than 3 or 4. And knowing that, I think that's probably what's going through their brains right now, to how do we strategize to cut our losses on this end. But Dylan's got to make this shot too. The sweeper was on it right away, so I don't know if it's on, it looks like.
They were hoping for it to curl a little bit more. They don't want it to roll out. It is biting, though, so that's good. That works in their favor for sure. And now it's just a world of hurt here for Mathieu. He really doesn't have much of a...
No. Yeah, I think you just got to freeze on one. If you do freeze on the one that they're standing by, it's a draw for 1.
Is he trying with the... That's a hard double that they're thinking
What are you...
about.
No, why? Why?
So now he's just like starting.
Yeah.
That's...
Probably.
Again, at this point, you have nothing to lose.
No, you have nothing to lose.
You have nothing
but,
to lose.
I mean,
I think
see
you're right.
it. I see the vision.
The freeze would probably make the most sense. But on this side of the sheet, those draws have been a little
and I
bit...
guess if he's not comfortable with his draw weight right now,
then that's probably your best option. So, wow, if you're Saskatoon too, you're looking at this, you're licking your chops, and you're saying, depending on how this goes, this could be an absolute game changer.
Yeah.
And then also, like, really wants to be pretty picky, too. Bleeding is
Mathieu Lefebvre with his last shot here in the third end at the Granite Curling Club. Draw 7. Jory just sweeping as hard as he can, gets the roll, and
Draw
it
for 3
rolls
here.
out. So it will be a draw for 3 for Saskatoon 2, which would give them a 4-1 lead in this pivotal game as Saskatoon 2 tries to book their spot in Sunday's semifinal. Ottawa currently up 6-0 over Winnipeg. They're cruising to Sunday. They would be at 6-1. Saskatoon 2 hoping to join them as well.
If you're Calgary 1, Toronto 1, and you peek over at this, you're a little unhappy with how things are going over this way.
So if Saskatoon 2 wins,
Pool A is done.
And Ottawa has won. Saskatoon 2 would finish in the A1 position. Ottawa would finish A2. So that's how that would work. So that means Ottawa would face the first place team in Pool B. Saskatoon would play the second place team in Pool B. But there's still a lot of curling left to be played.
Yeah.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Absolutely not.
As the sweepers are trying to drag this into the house to ensure that they've got the 3.
I think it's there. They'd be panicking more if it wasn't.
And it is. You can see the smiles on the faces of all the Saskatchewan contingent here. As Saskatoon 2 gets their 3, taking a 4-1 lead through 3 ends of play. Welcome back to the Granite Curling Club in Edmonton. The Canadian Pride Curling Championships draw 7. Saskatoon 2 with a 4-1 lead over Edmonton 2. My name is Kevin Jesus, along with Matt Patrick. And Matt, it has been a wild day of games.
Oh, yeah. Wild day. 4-4.
4-4. Canada, Scotland at the World Championships in Moose Jaw. What end is that in? The eighth end. Eighth end. Things getting pretty wild. Fourth end is brought to you in part by the Imperial Sovereign Court of the Wild Rose. I should also mention a big thank you to our platinum sponsors, Sports 1440 and Super Country 840 CFCW. For more than 70 years, CFCW has been Alberta's home for country music, Canada's first full-time country station, introducing listeners to local artists who have gone on to become big stars like, Brett Kissel or Adam Gregory.
Crazy.
Sports 1440 is Edmonton's only sports talk station where they have a pulse on the city's sports scene.
I still can't get over the 880 thing.
The 840 thing?
840 and 880. I can't do both. I can't.
880 Chad.
As a child growing up, it was at 790 and 630. Never.
Over on Sheet B, I know this game means nothing,
That's still impressive.
but St. John's has put up 3 to take a 4-3 lead over Halifax 2. St. John's
I don't want to go home without
0-6.
Yeah, you don't
Montreal 0-6. Montreal, they're on the road to losing to Ottawa here. But St. John's has a chance to win their first game.
Hey, that's the best way to finish.
Oh, and to make that long trip back out east
Like,
would be
hey,
fantastic.
we won our last game. We're happy with that. Now we got blown out every game.
Quick update on Sheet D. Well, you know what? Let's give our sponsors some love here. So we'll go with because Saskatoon's playing.
Original
This
16.
one is brought to you in part by Original 16. Saskatoon-based brewery, 1989. They were facing closure. 16 men risked it all. They bought the brewery and became one of the most successful regional brewers in Canada. I had a chance to tour the place. Fantastic. And there's such cool people over there. They're awesome. And their beer is fantastic. And they'll be happy to know that Saskatoon 1 is currently up 1-0 over Halifax 1 over in Pool B. Now that is huge as Saskatoon is trying to play spoiler.
I told you, with all those rocks I played, it's probably just going to be 1. There were a lot of rocks.
There were a lot of rocks.
That's when I'm happy on my skip and I don't have to push them back after. I just say, you guys do that.
So we're waiting to see if there's an update in the Sheet F with Regina and Montreal. The third end has ended, so we'll wait to see if they just blanked it or whatnot. But Regina was up 3-0. So again, if Regina wins that game, Halifax is losing here. You know what's going to happen with the Calgary and Regina. Can you imagine that if Regina and Saskatoon play each other?
That'd be cool.
In the semifinals.
Guaranteed a
on
Saskatchewan
Sunday.
finalist.
It would be something.
Right? Something from the West.
Just taking a look at where the different scenarios across the sheets. Over on Sheet G, all I'm seeing is it's still 1-1 from what I can see.
I don't see anything
between
else.
Calgary 1 and Toronto 1. Spencer McKnight sliding out of the hack here for Saskatoon, too.
Saskatchewan playing a very, very calm, cool, collected end here. Puts them in the house, and I think they're just trying to guard now.
Well, that's the thing. Now, if you're Saskatoon, just take it easy. You just want to ensure that you get that W so you get to control your own destiny.
And don't waste too much fatigue on strategy and all that stuff. Take all the time you can need, but just go with your gut. You know what you're going to throw at this point. You're in control here.
And they'll get a great break if they do end up advancing. So this game should probably end around, call it 6:30 if they go the full 2 hours. And at 6:30, they're not playing again the semifinals until 9:30 tomorrow morning. So they will get that nice break. Come to the Bison Lodge, they'll have a nice dinner, and then they can call it an early night so they can relax.
Exactly.
Maybe hit the hot tub if they're in their, if they've got one at their hotel.
Right.
That's what
I know
I'd
a
be
lot
doing.
of teams are at Airbnbs this year.
Yeah.
Not a lot of talk of that.
I mean, that's, I guess, a little bit easier in the pocketbook.
Yes and no.
Do people still use pocketbooks?
Yeah, no. I mean, I had to order a checkbook the other day just for condo stuff. And I was like, wow, I feel old.
Right?
Right? But, yeah, no, Airbnbs, they're starting to get to the point of prices of hotels with all the cleaning fees and all that. So I think people just like it for the closeness of rooms, but you still get all your own rooms, and it still feels like a home.
Well, and I'll tell you, one of our raffle prizes was from the Visionary Husbands.
Oh.
And they donated a 2-night stay at one of their Airbnb properties here in Edmonton. And it is
crazy.
a beautiful facility. I've been following them on Instagram as they've been renovating it.
Nice.
And it is absolutely beautiful. I've seen the pictures of it. They haven't done the reveal yet. Of
You're
their
like,
newly,
I want to go there.
They're newly improved. Well, but just put your ticket in there, and you might get a chance to win a
No, I
2-night
put it
stay.
on a bunch of other things. Like that original 16 provided Briar blanket.
Well, I mean, there's 6 of those blankets, so I can say that there's been a lot of interest in that in the Visionary Husbands Airbnb property. So big thank you to them for supporting us. Also, big thank you to Pride Tape. So Jeff McLean over at Pride Tape, the founder of that, he ensured that every team had rolls of Pride Tape in their welcome bag. Pride Tape has just been so fantastic. It's all about showing that inclusivity, and we can't thank them enough. You just see it all over from the NHL, every sport. It's really good to see.
A hit coming here for Edmonton too. They really need to make something happen right now. They're kind of sitting at a bad stage. Make a beautiful double there.
1,
If it
2,
sticks,
both of them go out.
and it sticks and they're counting, I believe. Yep.
So they
which is
get
really
their
good for
double
them.
takeout.
It's what you need for that team to rebound a little bit. You need a little.
Those
bit
are the
of
little
momentum.
wins that you want.
Exactly, 100%. It was looking a little dire. Edmonton just had a bunch of guards up, and Saskatoon was on this. Oh, we got handshakes already.
We've got early handshakes over on Sheet A as Vancouver defeats Edmonton 1. So Vancouver will finish the 2025 Canadian Pride Curling Championships with a 2-5 record. Edmonton 1 drops to 3-4.
Sheet E has an update too. Winnipeg scored 2 in the third, so it's now 6-2 for Winnipeg. I mean,
For Ottawa. So Ottawa's still in the lead there. Quick update also on Sheet F as Regina has a 3-1 lead over Montreal. So Montreal got on the board on the third, and Regina up 3-1. And Toronto won with a 2-1 lead over Calgary 1. Again,
Stolen
that
point.
is an important game there. May not be as important in the grand scheme of things if Saskatoon 2 wins. Now, the one thing to keep in mind when it comes to prize money, the top 6 teams will end up getting prize money.
Okay.
So that's where that works. So we already know what the top 4 will be eventually at the end of this.
Yeah.
So then it's just figuring out who's going to finish 5 and 6, and then we can do the math for that one after.
That's easy.
Right?
That's where the draw scores come in.
If we need to, you're right. That is exactly where that's going to come into.
Another shot here coming from Edmonton.
I do wonder. Sorry to interrupt. I do wonder if one of the reasons why Edmonton won and Vancouver shook hands so early on I mean, they only played 3 ends. I mean, they were down 7-0. Edmonton 1 was, but again with Christopher Huven battling those wrist injuries, the team already knew that they were out. And Vancouver had nothing to play for either. Why not just go home, get rested, get ready for the banquet coming up tonight?
They just want to be first in line
for the buffet, and that's going to be fantastic. It is delicious. We looked at the menu.
I'm so excited.
Dean Carlson helped set all of that up, and it's going to be delicious.
I'm excited.
Like, did it change much or just kind of?
Saskatchewan looking to take some of the rocks out here for that Edmonton set up very nicely. Matt spread his house out a little bit, which is really great. No double potential, so we'll see what Saskatchewan can do here with some third things.
Oh, look at the sweep by Spencer McKnight. His face is turning red. He's putting so much oomph into this.
That's why he needs the shorts.
Yep, he held that line perfectly.
Yeah.
What a great shot.
Right?
And this big breath.
Oof. You could see it at the end there.
Yeah.
Scotland's up 5-4. You see the reflection.
Bruce Mowat, proud member of the 2S
Exactly.
LGBTQ plus community.
Exactly. Scotland's got a good program.
Those
Bruce didn't
European
even
teams,
win.
it's like they just gear up for the World Championships.
No, they also don't play roster roulette like we do in Canada. Because I don't know if anybody's been keeping up this year, but it's been roster roulette
Well,
this year.
look at Sweden. Sweden's been like the same team for like 500 years.
And they do quite well almost
Yeah.
all the time. Matt calling on the sweepers to make sure that this hits well and doesn't take out their other. They need everything that they can to count. Great shot there.
So we're coming down to the skip stones here in the fourth end, brought to you by the Imperial Sovereign Court of the Wild Rose. Again, we thank them for their support for our league, for this Nationals event, and just for all the work that they do in the community here in Edmonton. We are keeping a close eye over on Sheet D, where Halifax 1 is taking on Saskatoon 1. Halifax needs to win to try and keep their hopes alive, down 1-0 against Saskatoon 1. Saskatoon 1, Sam Yachuomilian throwing her final stone of that end.
Looks like it's going to get a piece.
It just rolls out. So I think
Chance for 2.
Halifax 1 is sitting 1, and they'll have a chance to draw in for 2 to take a 2-1
They're going for the
lead.
3. I think they're going for the hit on that one.
I mean, if you're able to do that, that puts you in a really good spot because, again,
Absolutely.
Halifax does have the tiebreaker over Regina.
Exactly. They need the win. They're thinking about it.
Why not? At this point, do it. And that's
nothing in
exactly
the
what
bag.
they're going to do over on Sheet D.
I mean, we saw some magic from them this morning, from Halifax 1, to make sure that they were at the 4-2. So that'll be, see what he can do. Matt coming here with his first stone. He's just got to make a nice hit and stick, hit and roll, something to keep him alive a little bit with a couple points.
Yeah, he's put himself in a pretty good situation to
They're playing quite well this
stay
time.
back in. Which, again, so good for them given the fact that Matthew is playing through a pinched nerve and had some migraine issues this morning.
I think they took some inspiration from Miss Taylor Swift.
They just shook it off.
They shook it off.
That never gets old.
Hey, we tried last game. We forgot. We casted them here. I was like, I got this.
Final shot for Halifax 1 over on Sheet D. That's Corey Oikel trying to score 3. Oh, and he misses.
Single for them.
It is still... What are they measuring?
There's no
Do
way.
they really think that?
I mean, we've been fooled up here a few times.
I just don't see it whatsoever.
They like to measure. They had 2 measures in their
Yeah.
game earlier. They're like us in our league. Like, we just want to measure.
I mean, it looks like Halifax has scored 1.
Oh, no, I think,
I'm going to assume that they did.
yeah.
So it'll be 1-1 between Halifax 1 and Saskatoon 1.
And I mean, on sheet C here, Matt missed his hit there. It just overcurled a little bit. So Saskatoon now trying to play a little spoiler on this end.
Again, it's those little misses. We've talked about that all week long. The little misses make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Dylan coming out with some heat there and some confidence to attack this outer yellow.
Well, I'd sure have confidence when you have a sweeper like Spencer McKnight. Like, my goodness.
Right?
Okay, so now if you're Matthew, are you blanking this?
100%. That's his goal. Something happened somewhere. We're hearing some...
A lot of celebration for Halifax 2. I love the traveling contingent here.
Right? It's great. We get to talk to so many people. Like this morning, we talked to Halifax's one's parents. Yeah. It was great. We got some gossip on them. It was great. We love it.
That's right. We learned that Corey has a love and affinity for Harry Potter.
Yeah, and dodgeball.
Yeah.
And dodgeball.
And dodgeball. World champion. So it was one. Confirmed it was one. So we are tied up at 1 over on sheet D between Halifax 1 and Saskatoon 1. Saskatoon 1 trying to play spoiler. Halifax 1 needing to win to try and keep their playoff hopes alive. Mathieu Lefebvre with his final stone here in the fourth end.
I think it's nose hit here.
It is. It sticks around. That's one. Cuts the deficit in half. So after 4 ends of play, it is Saskatoon 2 with a 4-2 lead over Edmonton 2. Welcome back to fifth end action here on Draw 7 of the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. We are streaming live from the Granite Curling Club in South Edmonton. My name is Kevin Jesus, along with Matt Patrick. And Matt, if you're Saskatoon 2, how are you feeling here through the halfway point of this game?
You're feeling confident. You're happy with how you're rebounding after a tough loss this morning. You came into the day undefeated. You had a really unfortunate game this morning against Toronto 1, and now you're rebounding quite nicely against the hometown Edmonton team that was trying to play spoiler against you.
And I'll probably chalk up some of that performance this morning due to the fact that they were playing till past midnight last night. Again, that's obviously not taking away anything from Toronto 1. They're the two-time defending champions for a reason.
Right. But I mean, I'm pretty sure, not talking to the players or anything, Saskatoon 2 realized that there's no coming back from that game and decided we'd rather value the rest. I mean, I didn't see them around the rink between games, so they must have gone back.
No, I think they left to rest up, which was the smarter move.
Play. You can see they seem a little more rested now. They're not making as many misses as they were on that. And even the game last night, they were down. They had to battle back. It wasn't an easy game for them against Winnipeg.
So here's a crazy scenario for you. I'll have to take a look at how we
got here, kind of thing.
No, hold on 2 seconds as I take a look at our schedule book here. Did I? I don't know if we assigned sheets yet for the semifinals, because I was going to say there's a possibility that Saskatoon 2, if they win this and then go to the final, would have 3 straight games on this sheet of ice.
That's a massive advantage.
Right? And we haven't, I don't know if I have to take a look at the schedule.
We haven't picked our featured game for tomorrow.
We have to take a look at what's on the agenda.
That's an organizing committee kind of thing. I'm just here to talk.
That is above my pay grade.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure that the sheets have already been determined. We'll just have to take a look.
Yeah. Very much so. Doesn't look like there's updates across. Oh, there's an update on sheet G for 4.
Calgary won with a 3-2 lead over Toronto 1. Again, that could be inconsequential if Saskatoon 2 ends up winning this game. Now, inconsequential in terms of the semifinals. That would help in terms of potentially finishing 5th or 6th, getting that prize money.
Which would be nice.
Which would be...
Go home with something.
You would go home with something, absolutely.
Saskatoon here just playing Hit the Rock. It seems... actually, they're drawing. They have one in. I lied. I got my rocks mixed up.
I have a quick update for you on Sheet F, as Regina has scored 2 in the 4th end to take a 5-1 lead over Montreal. So that would put Regina at 5-2, and that really puts the pressure on Halifax.
Yeah. Halifax wins and they're in. They don't, Regina will get in based off that.
How big is that loss for Regina against Halifax now?
Massive.
Right?
Massive. If I remember correctly, Regina beat Toronto 2, correct? Was that the scenario? Because I thought all 3 of them beat each other.
Yes.
So if Toronto 2 loses and Regina wins and Halifax loses, then Regina's in. That's their path forward.
So let's just bring up my massive screen that covers up the whole thing. So Regina lost 11-10 to Calgary 2.
And Halifax, because we know where their 2 losses are.
They lost to Halifax 1, 8-7. And they beat Toronto 2, 6-3.
Yeah. So if you're Regina, you're really hoping on Saskatoon 1 to win, and you're really hoping for Calgary 2 win over Toronto 1. Or Toronto 2.
Over Toronto 2. It's the numbers that are throwing me off, right?
Well, that's the fact that they're both beside each other. Like, that's the other part. Like, they're both beside each other, so I look at them like, I guess which one I'm thinking about here.
5th end here at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships, brought to you in part by Evolution, Edmonton's only 2S LGBTQ plus club, and they are opening a new location on Jasper Avenue. A lot of excitement in the community about it, and there will be a soft launch tomorrow, open exclusively to those that have been participating here at Nationals.
Nice,
so
that'll be fun.
we are very excited for that, an opportunity to check that out. There was a point in time that I wasn't sure if I was going to make it out there because it's just been very exhausting.
It's been a weekend.
But there's also a part of me that's pretty excited to want to check it out.
Ooh, I get to see it first.
Exactly, just to go in there and see what it's like. I'm too old for the club scene now. But the beauty of this is this isn't just a club anymore. Now it is going to be more of like a food and drink lounge type thing during the day, and then more of a club at night. So that will be a really
that'll
nice
be fantastic
situation
to have something.
Which you're starting to see more of that stuff, right? Like Frank's Pub here in Edmonton. Yeah. They're one of our gracious community partners here for the Nationals. They're a great community-based pub here in town, and they make great grilled cheese sandwiches.
Ooh, good to know.
Their French onion or caramelized onion grilled cheese sandwiches is really good.
That'd be so good.
Yeah. So here on our features sheet, again, Saskatoon 2 with a 4-2 lead over Edmonton 2. If Saskatoon wins, they book their spot into the semifinals on Sunday.
And solidify Pool A.
And they solidify Pool A. They would finish first, and Ottawa would almost certainly finish second. Ottawa still hasn't officially won this game. They are up 6-2.
And they're sitting 4 in the house right now.
Do they have the hammer? No. I see.
Yeah, they have the hammer. They're in 4. They're coming home in 4. But there's still a couple rocks left for both. Yeah. I see a single red for sure.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about the fact that I jumped to conclusions and I gave
I'm going
to
to make sure you sweat a little bit over that one. But it's looking like you were right on that. But Saskatoon 2 winning would just help us out a ton and solidify Pool A. And then, like you said, Calgary 1, Toronto 1 are playing for 5-6 prize money here.
Ooh. Saskatoon 1 wrecked on one of the Halifax stones. But that's still early in that one, isn't it?
Yeah. They're going up in 5.
Oh, yeah.
So.
They still have the skip stones to come.
Yeah, it's about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through the end.
We're just trying to keep an eye on everything because we're trying to keep track of all the standings. I know a lot of the teams are paying close attention, trying to figure out who goes where, what was going on. I do think everything is starting to slowly solidify itself here.
Yeah, for sure.
It takes a lot of pressure off the person updating the standings, let me tell you.
Yeah, let me tell you, he's a stress ball right now.
Nice move by Saskatoon, too, as they get 2 Yellowstones out of there.
Yeah. Matt's got to start figuring out what he wants to do in this. And he doesn't have hammer, right? So we got to...
And I'm not a body language reader, but you can just tell that they're just done.
Yeah.
They're just over it.
I think so.
They're just going through the motions here.
Yeah. I think it's just Saskatoon scores 2 little B handshakes for...
Do you
Edmonton
think?
Yeah.
I don't know. They'd probably play back.
You think so?
I think they
Are
probably
they're not a push rocks kind of back team?
I mean, who knows? With the pinched nerve,
Maybe.
could happen.
I'm not a push rocks back. I hate it.
I will say this with Mathieu. He has focused also a lot, not only on curling here at Nationals, but he's also been the co-chair of the Nationals committee alongside Dean Carlson. So he's been burning the candle on both ends, really doing a lot of work to ensure that this event runs smoothly. We've been hearing great feedback from all the teams. So again, we thank everyone for all your support. It truly is fantastic. There will be 50-50 still being sold tonight at the Bison Lodge. And raffle tickets, you still have a chance. We will be doing the draw, I believe, at noon tomorrow. And that's where hopefully I'll win maybe a guitar.
I was going to say when I win all my prizes.
Canada, gift card.
Okay, good. We're not in the same prizes. That's good. That's good.
So here we go. Dustin Anderson throwing third stones here for Saskatoon too.
Yeah, Saskatoon, again, it seems like they're just playing calm, cool, collected here. I think in their minds they've already know, okay, we're here, we're ready to move on to the next stage of the tournament. They're not making outlandish, risky shots here, so I think they're in the driver's seat. Although this doesn't look heavy, super heavy. How deep is it going to go in? Oh, those sweepers did a lot of work. A lot of work to get that as deep as it was. What are you looking up there, Kevin?
I was just trying to see how many people were watching our stream. I think at one point there was like 129 viewers.
Nice. That's good.
So,
yeah. I swear to God, I don't have 129 family members watching this, so it's not all me. I think Matt's trying to play off his own to maybe make a double or something.
Well, right now, Saskatoon is sitting 2 in the house.
Yeah. I think what he's trying to do is play off of his yellow to jam into the back red right beside it in the 8-foot, and then slingshot his shot over to either sit or hit out those other 2.
This is the first of the skip stones here in the 5th end.
Oh my God! Look at sheet E. Sorry.
Sheet which one? B?
Sheet E.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this hammer a shot? A chance for 6?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, it isn't. There's a red stone there.
Okay. Whew. I was like,
it's 3, but it is handshakes.
Yeah.
So Ottawa officially 6-1. They have booked a spot in Sunday's semi-final.
Calgary, Toronto now playing for. Not yet. No. Because if they're 5-2, because Sask lost to Toronto 1. Toronto 1 still has a chance, assuming Saskatoon 2 doesn't win, but which is not looking super likely.
So this is where Kevin tries to
figure stuff out.
Find his notes because we'll see if I have that information here. Oh, just a bit of a miss there for it.
Well, if Saskatoon 2 loses, Toronto 1 has a tiebreak over them, so there's still the chance there.
No, here's what I wanted to say. Joey Taylor, who plays third for Ottawa, he led Ottawa to its first Canadian Pride Curling Championship title in 2011. Okay, stay with me. 7 years later, they won for a second time.
Is it 7 years later?
7 years later brings us this year to Edmonton. Could it be lucky 7
Lucky 777s.
for Ottawa and Joey
Maybe.
Taylor?
That'll be a storyline to watch.
Would that not be something? See, these are the stats that just get me
love.
giddy, eh?
You're
That's
like,
what gets me
yes.
excited.
Right.
It's those little stats. So,
Saskatchewan having a bit of deliberation here, trying to figure out how to play this end up correctly. They're still sitting 2. I didn't really see Matt's shot. I was watching the Ottawa shot come down.
you were probably watching me madly scramble
Also
through my
that.
binder to get this information.
But
Useless information, wealth of information.
no,
whatever
great
you want.
information.
Whatever.
There's no useless information.
It's 5-4 Scotland in the 10th end, by the way, in the World
They
Championships.
just blanked the 9s.
My husband just showed up here. Graham Ismister. He was at the Bison Lodge. How's the Bison Lodge looking?
It's all set up, ready to go.
Come down and talk to me.
Oh, so yes, the Bison Lodge is all set up, ready to go, all decorated. The food is just going to be arriving in probably about 20 minutes to a half an hour. They're going to put it all back in the ovens, warm it all up, and ready for a wonderful evening at the Bison Lodge today.
Yay.
We're very excited about that. And the 50-50s are still going strong?
Oh yeah, we've paused sales here at the club, and we're moving them over to the Bison Lodge for tonight. We're going to draw 50-50 probably around 9 o'clock this evening. Right now the pot is sitting at about a take-home of $650. We're hoping to bring it back up to $1,300 like it was last night.
Perfect. Well, I'd be happy with $600.
Right,
personally.
me too, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
just saying.
I mean, $600, $1,300, who's going to complain?
Yeah, who's going to complain?
Free money?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
All right, Matt Lefebvre
A little bit of hurt here.
coming in with his final shot here in the 5th end as Saskatoon sitting 3, it looks like. At least 2.
At least 2. Maybe a potential 3rd.
Kind of looks like 3. Again, the color's off here with these overhead cameras, but
Hey, at least we have overhead cameras.
right? Regina up 5-1 over Montreal on sheet F. That's a big game that you want to be keeping a close eye on. Calgary 2 with a 3-1 lead over Toronto 2.
Sheet D, Saskatoon 1 up a single on Halifax 1 for a 2-1 lead.
Disappointing for Halifax if that's the case for you.
Absolutely. Played such a great game this morning to put themselves in a position. Losing here would just throw it all away.
Matt Lefebvre throwing his final stone here in the 5th end of draw 7 at the Canadian Pride Curling Championships. Everyone just stood up. Everyone
That
just stood
was
up to see what
not,
was going to happen here.
I think it's over curling.
Yeah, once again.
No, it might be fine.
Let's look at it
It's
though.
got to sit.
It's going. The sweeper's on it.
Nice shot. Great shot by Matt there.
And he's sitting shot stone, but
Oh, he's covered. It's a freeze to it for 1.
do you not have enough that you could just nudge it
No.
back far enough?
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
Not for. We have a good view here. If I'm sitting in the hack, I can't see
Okay.
that.
Look, Dylan Flash is going back into the house. He's thinking that there's a chance. He's looking at it and saying there's an opportunity here. I think Dustin's saying, no, I don't think so.
I think Dustin's the correct one here.
I don't know. Look, now they're thinking about it. I
you
think they're
just gotta
thinking about
tap
it.
it.
All
but-
you got to do is just nudge it back just a little bit.
Okay, so what
You
if,
nudge it back
so-
a bit and you score 3.
Okay, so we know this ice is swingy, right, with weight. He can't throw takeout weight. He's got to throw heavy weight. What if it swings or doesn't curl enough? You give up 1.
If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a very Merry
I
Christmas.
mean, we played What If all day, so you can't use that on me here. We've literally played What If all day with the standings.
Yeah, there we go. A lot of excitement over on sheet B. There was a whole lot of rocks. No idea what happened there, but we'll soon
Stuff.
see a score update.
Stuff and things.
Here we go. Dylan Flash, final shot here in the 5th end. As Saskatoon has a 4-2 lead, trying to make something happen here.
It's gotta stay straight, but it's gotta start curling soon because it's not.
But you don't want it to overcurl either, though. Both sweepers on it hard.
Look at it go now.
There it goes. You've got it. They've got it. It goes back.
That's it.
There's
What a
your 3.
shot. Handshake.
And could it be 4?
Yeah.
Are they shaking hands?
Yeah.
They are. It's handshakes. And Saskatoon, too, has booked their spot
Pool A officially complete.
Into the semifinals. So, Saskatoon 2 will finish first in Pool A because they beat Ottawa. Ottawa will finish second. Both teams tied at 6-1. So, how does that play out? Saskatoon 2 will play the second place team in Pool B. Ottawa will play the top team in Pool B. Those are your semifinal matchups at 9:30 on Sunday morning. It is going to be absolutely fantastic. Max,
Right.
this has been wonderful
This has
doing
been
all
great.
this.
I've been
throughout the
having a
round
great
robin.
time.
Really appreciate you doing this.
Oh, I need to know that anytime.
So big thank you to everyone who has been watching. Halifax 2 took a 9-4 lead over on Sheet B. Quick updates that we can pass along your way. Saskatoon won with a 2-1 lead over Halifax 1. Ottawa continues to be in the lead over... Oh, no. Ottawa already won that game. Regina up 5-1 over Montreal. Can't see what's happening.
Calgary, I
won.
think, is up 3-2. Calgary 1 is
Over
up 3-2
Toronto.
over Toronto 1.
Not that matters anymore because Saskatoon 2 and Ottawa have already clinched it. So really,
it could matter for some money.
For money, yes. But really, the only games we're really keeping an eye on right now are Regina and Halifax 1.
Yeah.
But
Well, and Calgary 2, Toronto 2.
and Calgary 2, Toronto 2. So here's how we will keep you updated. Keep your eyes on our social media. We'll be posting updated standings for you. And we'll be back tomorrow morning, semifinal Sunday at the Granite Curling Club. For Max Patrick, I'm Kevin Jesus. Matt Patrick,
I don't
Kevin
care.
Jesus.
I told you that.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Have a good night, everyone.